Nice here.
I'm going to do a preface thing. So, when I was 15, I went to a Best Buy in Downers Grove, Illinois. It's very, very close to where.
Isn't that a great name for a city, Downers Grove? When I was a kid, we drive out like Downers Grove.
And at this Best Buy, I bought Machina because it had just come out. Right? I also,
You were the one.
I bought Machina. I also happened to steal a Tool album, so I got arrested. Right? Even though I bought the record.
Which Tool album?
Anima. So,
Good album.
So
I mean, if you're going to go down, you know.
So I spent the night in jail, and then I got out, and needless to say, at 15, I was grounded for a while. And so that record was very important to me, and I've probably listened to that record more than any other record ever, actually. And so my question is regarding the record itself, because I know at the time it was a weird time to release it. You know, everything was Corn and Limp Bizkit, and
Well, and also you still had the dying end of the Lilith Fair.
yeah.
So you literally had alternative stations either playing heavy kind of singer-songwritery type stuff, or like, and we were like in between.
Yeah.
We were no longer heavy, basically.
And so, like, you know, I think you're fairly used to, you know, obviously people talking about records like Simon Street and Melancholy and what's up. But I guess this isn't a question, it's just a comment. I just want to tell you thank you for that record, because it's probably my favorite company's record.
Thank you.
And it meant the most to me, especially at that time in my life. And I know you've been doing the reissues lately, and I'm curious if that's going to be coming in the pipeline.
Well, it is, but we're in a dispute now with what was Virgin was bought by EMI, which has now been bought by Universal. And so I don't know, there's maybe 2 major labels left.
Yeah.
So it's this monolithic company. We're one, you know, act amongst many. And so we're in this dispute, which has now suspended the reissues. While we were doing the new album, we were preparing the tracks because there's a lot of prep time. And I have to listen to a bunch of stuff, which includes, you know, weird DAT tapes and concerts to try to figure out some story that I want to tell with the reissue. And we got basically everything up on the runway ready to go, and this dispute kicked in, so I just shut everything down because it does cost me money to do it, and if we're not going to put out the record, I'm not going to spend the time and the money. So yeah, it's kind of difficult. But what makes me laugh, and I don't know if this answers it in a different way, it doesn't surprise me that it's Machina that's the fucking problem. You know what I mean? It doesn't surprise me that record has always had a weird cloud around it. I tell a story in my book, which I can't tell you here, and I hope you read it someday, which will make you really laugh, I think. But I very, very seriously had to make it. Well, start over. I had to make a decision at some point about whether I was going to continue, because every sign was get off the island with the band, get the fuck out of Dodge. I mean, every indication, and I hope there's moments in your life where you can relate, where your senses are screaming, bad relationship, bad job, gotta go. And for whatever reason, I overrode those instincts and finished the record, and found something in that record that I wouldn't have found if I didn't stick to it. I would say of all the records I've ever made, that's the one where I still think it's a coin flip whether or not it should have been finished. I have total confidence in the material. I have total confidence in, using my language from before, the helix that I created, which I think now that you've listened to it, you understand. There's layers and layers and layers in that record that you can only get to if you listen to that record. And playing, for example, Crying Tree of Mercury in the show, I think is a good example, where that's a song that's often overlooked, but when you hear it in this setting, with that set of dynamics, it's got a power that's very, very unique that could have only been gotten to by us going into the dark shadow of what those types of songs represented. This almost disintegrating sound, which I would add was done before Pro Tools became. Now you can do the disintegrating sound very easy now, we did the disintegrating sound when it was still very, very time-consuming to do. I mean, that said, it's there, and I'm glad it exists, and I still hope to finish the record. I still don't think the record's actually finished. I don't think it was produced to a point of completion. It's like literally looking at an unfinished film, or a film that's half shot and not really edited right, and you know there's something in there. But then again, that's sort of the story of the album, is me trying to hold something together that really had no more organic reason to hold together, other than the name above the door, the record contract, a point of destination, a tour. You know, it was probably as hollow as saying, and I've had friends say this to me, you know, you say, look, you're not in love with your wife, you know, why do you stay in the marriage? Well, I stay in it because the kids. It had that same hollow feeling to it, like, I probably should leave, but I'm staying in it for the kids, you know, whatever. And I think maybe until I do the reissue, I can't really work out what is the last component of that. In essence, exercise the ghost of the record. It has, and I think this is the final thing I'll say, maybe it goes back to a learned part of the fan base. It has pissed me off over and over again through the years that most fans who are actual real fans don't really get the record, nor have they really listened to it enough to get the record. Because if they did, they would understand it's just as powerful and just as potent a work in a different way as all the other ones. And it pisses me off when it's almost like the record didn't happen. It's very weird. We've even had, and this is to make you laugh, we've even had record company, this is all before the reissue campaign, we've even had where the record company would approach us and say, we want to reissue your albums. And you read the email, and the album is not even listed. No. So the email says, we want to reissue your albums. Gish, Siamese, Melancholy, Aeroplane Flies High, and Adore. And you go, I don't know what it is about that fucking record. That even the record company that owns the record doesn't even acknowledge that the record exists. That's a weird thing. So,
I think it's perfect. So.
Yeah, thank you. So my point is that maybe in this long, circuitous route of it, including the dispute that exists now, maybe at the end of it, when I finally feel comfortable enough, my brain's right, the thing can be finished so that the average person can listen to it and go, oh, actually, I can hear quite strong. The song-to-song ratio, it's as good as anything else. The production is weird on purpose, which is also part of why we released Machina 2, to say, hey, by the way, this is what the record sounds like if you just want to strip away all the artifice. It's like arguing about, like, an Instagram filter. That's basically what most fans are stuck on. They're literally arguing about it, or were, because I don't know if anybody's in the present, it's obviously present for me. They're arguing about an Instagram filter. I don't like your Instagram filter. My favorite comment I ever read about Machina, I think I was lurking on some chat board. I mean, this was a long time ago. And some guy wrote, I never understood Machina until I smoked a whole lot of pot. And I was able to hear the layer behind the layer. And I thought, that's it. He got it. Because the record really is, this thing is up here is meant to kind of throw you off, to force you to literally kind of go, wait, I see something, here's something back there. That's actually the way we produced it. And so Machina 2, in the converse, is actually, okay, no filter. So a rational person, which I like to think I am, would go, if the filter's on this one, and there's no filter on this one, the truth actually exists somewhere in the middle. That's the Pisces in me talking. And so if a fan isn't learned enough to figure that out, well, of course they don't get the word. It's like, it just sounds like a big fucking mess. Good? Everybody happy? All right, cool. Thank you very much.